Audience, the last few times I've done diary logs of Terra Invicta, people were pretty interested, so let's give it a shot again. This is Terra Invicta patch 0.4.9a. We're going to be playing the Resistance with a pretty standard opening right here. If you don't know about this game, it was developed by people who made XCOM Long War and I think XCOM 2 Long War. And you are a scrappy group of intelligence agents and world travelers who need to secretly control the world's governments in order to fight off a somewhat less secret alien invasion. But you don't have to take my word for it. Let's hear more about it from the Resistance.
We remember the day the stars answered, the day we learned we were not alone. As a familiar sun rose on an unfamiliar universe, some of us saw wondrous possibility and others existential danger. The astronomers had insisted that the bright streak in the sky was no natural phenomenon. Most of us didn't really believe them until it burned through our atmosphere and crashed in a remote region, leaving only wreckage and uncertainty. In our ignorance, we fractured, taking refuge in our most primal emotions. Each of us saw what we wanted to see. Everyone loves heroes, depends on them, to save us from evil, lead us through darkness. Problem is, real heroes are always ignored. What no one understands is that being shot at is easy. The hard part is convincing someone they're drowning before it's too damn late.
Okay, so we're playing as the Resistance, as Commander Ayawade, who we just saw and heard from. It's the easiest campaign to some extent, although there is something to be said for playing brutal servants. But each faction has its own slice of the storyline. You can't really understand it until you've fully played through all of them or just looked up online what's going on. But if it's your first time playing and this inspires you to play, I absolutely think you should go into it blind as possible, just with no information at all.
Greetings, Commander. I am pleased to report the Council has appointed you leader of our organization. I am Fiona Ayawade, your Chief of Staff. While most of the world is reacting with fascination at the arrival of an alien species on Earth, we represent a small group who believes the aliens' crash landing and disappearance may signify a potential threat. We intend to build an international organization capable of investigating and, if necessary, combating any danger aliens may pose.
So the aliens have arrived. They have landed in China. They don't always land there. They do land there more often than not. In general, we need to start getting a feel for what's going on. So let's take a look at France. My initial thought would be to try to take France, but we don't have a very high opinion here. You can see our opinion rating is 2%. That doesn't feel like it's a very good one. So we may go for a Kazakstan opening, if I can find Kazakstan, embarrassingly. Yeah, we're not very good here, but nobody else is actually very good here either. So, to explain why you might want Kazakhstan before any other nation, I'm going to go for a united European Union run. In order to fund such a run, we are going to need boost. Boost is the capability of sending rockets into orbit. Kazakhstan has one of the world's easiest accesses to boosts. It is in the Eurasian Union, which is basically part of the Russian Federation. We would need to control Kazakhstan for some time to pull them out of it, and thus relinquish that 0.31 that they are giving the Eurasian Union in boost to fully take Kazakhstan's boost for ourselves. Another way to be looking at the slice of the pie here is that all of these nations, if you take a nation that borders another nation, for instance, if you were to take Benelux here and also Spain, because these are two nations that border France, if you control both sides of the border, and in fact, if you controlled some of these other nations as well, they will give you a boost towards becoming a thought leader in those particular countries. But before we go too far into that, let's take a look at what we've got here on our counselors. It's been a while since I've played, so we have an engineer and an activist. Okay, so we really need 2 strong persuasion characters to start with. And you can see that we have spots for maybe 2 more. I want to get a closer look. Advise is okay. High science is all right. High investigation is better. This is a good starting stat. Out of your first 4 counselors, you're going to want 1, usually 2, very high persuasion who have the Control Nation mission and several other persuasion-based. Control Nation allows you to try to become the thought leaders and seize control directly. You may also need to boost public opinion or several other types of missions. We are not in a position to do that with this engineer because she doesn't have any of those capabilities and her persuasion is quite bad. Investigation is the second of 3 stats you're going to want by the end of the yearly game. Investigation allows you to investigate people, obviously, but quite importantly, it also allows you to capture people. Rather than kill them, you can jail them. And eventually you have to jail one of the aliens that is invading as part of the storyline. If you haven't been preparing for it, it is very long and very difficult to do, so you want to get started on it early. She also has access to a bunch of espionage missions, but she's terrible at it. So this is not really the best starting character we have here. What else do we have? So these are orgs. They're basically things that you attach to a character via their administration. You buy them with money or with other resources. They are a huge part of the game. And here's some of the issues, right? Like this space mining output bonus. By the mid-game, this is going to be very important. And boost will not be important. Mission control will be less important. But right now, it's not very important at all. We would actually want this. We would want plus 1.25 boost is enormous, but we don't have the money to swing that yet. And probably we aren't going to have the money to swing it by the time it matters. As you can see here, though, the Zenobia surveillance, it gives +1 to investigation, which is okay for a 1-star org. Typically, you kind of want closer to like a return of 2 stats per star level. But it also allows us to get all of the investigation missions we don't currently have. Investigate counselor, alien activity, detain, surveil. That will allow this engineer to operate at a much better level. That may actually be a pretty good pickup. We'll come back to that later. Our other counselor is Lambodar Tamli from India. Let me just double check and see what we've got here. So systems engineer is really good. Project manager is also quite good. -1 loyalty each time this counselor rolls a critical fail. Is there a way to move that? We pretty much have to, because they're gonna eventually roll some critical fails. Okay. Lambdor is a criminal, which is not great, but it does mean that they get access to the special criminal organizations. He's also a civil engineer and a megastar, and this is quite bad. Megastar is awful. You can see it gives you a -8 to espionage when being detected by other counselors, which means that he is completely unable to go to ground. So this guy actually sucks, and we need to remove him as soon as possible. So a 7 persuasion is kind of okay, but we're going to need to get rid of him and replace him with somebody else as quickly as possible, which means we are still on the hook for needing a high persuasion character, possibly 2. We have another activist here. She has Martyr, which is really good. Martyr means if you die, everybody else in the world all gets... whoever kills you gets a massive backlash. Okay, so this enemy of the state means they can't act in Ethiopia, but I don't see us acting in Ethiopia. So this is actually a pretty good character to pick starting out. I'm also looking at this tycoon. Her persuasion is not the best, but she has good administration, and she's probably, yeah, she's got like rich and stuff. Oh, she has extremist. Yikes. All right, journalist. This is a 6 persuasion, and we can pick them up immediately. They are non grata, which means cannot perform missions in rivals of home nation. I don't know that a lot of people hate Indonesia, so that might be okay. This is also a investigatory specialist, which is always good to have. -1 loyalty anytime a counselor from their faction rolls a critical failure. That is really tough to get around. This is a rough opening roll of the dice. I'm gonna be honest with you folks at home. The countries we want to be in, we do not have good ratings for. We have terrible ratings for, honestly, and our counselors are not good. And the counselors we can possibly future recruit are actively damaging to our cause. So I am going to re-roll. We're going to start again and see if we can get something better. I hate doing this. I hate doing this because it makes me feel like all the people that do continual re-rolls so that they can RNG push like a Jupiter rush or something like that, like get to the planet Jupiter before the aliens do. Still, this... All right, this time we got Yakutsk, Russia as our drop area. Let's take a look at our counselors. 6 persuasion and 7 persuasion. These are like bare minimum. This guy has a good investigation. Okay. Suspicious means they can't inspire people. That's fine. We can work on that. This guy works for the government, and he's actually from the United States. So that's government United States is actually quite good. He's also a spy. I think that gives him a number of, yeah, pretty good picks here. The real issue is that he's 40, and I know that doesn't sound bad, but he might die before the game is over. You can see all of our orgs here re-rolled. It doesn't look like we have any good boost ones. That boost last time was really quite special. This is a great org, one that gives +4 administration. Because orgs are tied to your administration score, orgs that increase your administration basically pay for themselves. They let you pick up even more orgs. Okay, so this is not bad. This guy's got Firebrand, which can be kind of questionable. He's got Lone Wolf, which means no inspire. I think that means both of them can't inspire, but it's less than ideal for your 2 initial starting characters. He's got Anxious. We'd love to get rid of that because probably one of our counselors will die eventually, but we don't need to work on that immediately. He's also got access to Criminal, which is quite good. We don't need to do that now, and it would cost all of our initial resources. We can wait off on that. He can pick up Demagogue. Interesting. That might be a down the line thing. I think we're going to start by just putting all his XP into Persuasion and see where that puts us. So his security sucks. This guy needs a lot of work, but he has a 10 starting Persuasion, which is very good. Now we're at 8 persuasion. This guy has enough administration, we might be able to get him a thing. don't know. Economy is okay. I don't know that we really want to invest in that. We want things that'll increase our income, and right here we're looking at something that will be increasing our influence, which we do want. It also boosts our funding. Because we're going to go for an EU strat, funding is extremely important. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pick this up. Let's take a look at who's on the market. Everybody is a 60 cost except for this guy, who's a scientist. That's not very good. We have 2 starting persuasion experts. This guy also has access to a bunch of missions, including investigate counselor, but he doesn't have the one that lets him kidnap people. He does have assassinate, and strangely, he's a pretty good starting assassinate agent. I think that rather than super increase this guy's persuasion, we're just going to start boosting his espionage. We're going to treat him like a spy and work him into becoming an ultimate assassin, which means we still need a second persuasion expert. Let's take a look at this guy. He's got low profile, aware, and lone wolf. I don't hate it. He's from the UK, so not bad. I think that's who we're going to aim for. This will be our second persuasion guy. Okay. So we do need a strong investigatory agent in the future. That's something that we need to keep in mind. Kazakstan is now greatly against us there in the Academy's pocket. Let's take a look here. We're not much better off here. It's almost twice as high though. All right. So we're going to start by pushing for Kazakstan. Honestly, if we started with a really good command character, we might try to overthrow Kazakstan with a coup. It's a very popular opening strategy on Kazakstan because if you overthrow it in a coup, they lose their federation with the Eurasian Union faster.
Establishing control.
So each of these guys is going to take a shot. You see we got 64 and 83%. If they both succeed, we'll control both control points and we'll have full control of Kazakstan. In 180 days after we have control of the executive, we will be able to make decisions like disarming nuclear warheads or declaring war and things like that. It's not in the cards right now. We've got some other things to take a look at. We could search for where we are strongest, which is the Philippines. Interestingly, a lot of smaller countries. Australia, we're quite strong. I don't know that I want to go there. Sweden and Bulgaria were decently strong, and those are both EU countries, and they get a portion of the boost that somebody is generating. Okay. So nobody has any HABs of value. We do have the International Space Station, which belongs to one of the factions, and Tiangong, which is the Chinese station, which is literally just a platform core as simulated here. We also have research and development. So the way this works is if you have a tick in any of these, you put science towards it. The more projects you are putting a tick in, the less goes to any particular project, but you get I believe it's 5% for each additional project that you are working on. So it's generally a good idea to put one tick in as many projects as possible. Now, I want to take a look at the tech tree. We are going to look for specific technologies. So we are going to want to get to advanced chemical rocketry as soon as possible because of the number of things that it opens up. These are secondary projects. You can see it has a 50% chance of unlocking. So they go down here in the bottom slot. These are projects and these are global research. No matter who contributes to the top research area, everybody gets the benefits of it. But the individual projects you unlock. So if we were to get to advanced chemical rocketry for one of these, the projects it unlocked, not every faction will get every one of those projects. And when you work on those projects, it is for your faction alone. Only you get that technology. A lot of the things we have here are improving boost and getting space assets out as quickly as possible. That is very important in order to compete at getting to the moon and eventually Mars. The moon and the Mars are the two big starter areas that you want to take. However, I don't know that those are where we want to start out at. I think we want to try to work towards covert cells, which should be the one that allows us to pick up a 5th counselor. Seems like maybe I didn't type that out right. Covert operations. All right. Allows us to recruit an additional counselor. So we need clandestine cells, which is a unlock based off of We Are Not Alone, and quantum encryption, which is an unlock through photonic computing and advanced carbon manipulation. So if we want to push this as quickly as possible, we do want to go for We Are Not Alone. So that's what we're going to put all of our points into. We're going to try to lead the way in that regard. This tech tree, by the way, is absolutely massive. Let's see if we can zoom all the way out. Yeah, it's quite big, very interconnected, lots of projects here. You're just going to do this by touch. I remember it took me 6 tries before I got my first victory in this game. So I think it took me 3 tries just to get my first space battle victory. But this is a long game, a very long game. I should have said this at the beginning. This is a very long game, 60, 70, 80 plus hours to play. You can make a mistake in dispatching a fleet to a location, and that will not be revealed for weeks or months in game if you made that mistake. Or, you know, you dispatch a fleet from Earth to Pluto, right? Because the game is hard science and travels at relativistic speeds, it could be months before it arrives. You might have a cutting edge fleet. You won't, but you might. Let's say you did. You won't, because the way building ships and researching works means that your ships are all going to be old by the time they get into the battlefield. They're not going to be the best technology you have. It takes too long to make a new ship class and get the new technology out. But let's say you did have your best cutting edge technology. In 6 to 8 months, you could have more ships than the aliens, but when it arrives, they're going to have better technology. They're going to have more ships. They're going to know exactly when you arrive, because everyone has perfect knowledge of everyone's movement in space. It's impossible to hide from the telescopes, so you can see everything the aliens are doing, and they can see everything you are doing. All the other factions in this game, as far as space goes, can all see what each other are doing. It's only on Earth that things are hidden, that ground movements are hidden. So by the time you arrive, the AI may well be ready for you to arrive. And you're gonna take L's. If you think you can steamroll a game, this is not the game for you, right? You are gonna take L's. You're gonna take big L's. You're gonna lose a lot. You're going to lose very often. The aliens are stronger than you, for sure. Okay. Well, with that said, you know our opening. We're going for Kazakstan. We're going to try to get access to its boost as quickly as possible. We might follow up with something like taking Singapore or Saudi Arabia, or maybe the Gulf states, and then using them to generate spoils, which is basically corruption. We're going to use that to take money out of their economy and put it into ours. And then we're going to launch a campaign to seize control of France. So France is the center point of the European Union. As long as you control France, you can have other European Union members that you control unionize with you, and they will merge to become one complete country. On the opposite way, eventually you'll get technologies to do stuff like break America up into distinct zones, or reunite the United Kingdom with Canada and South Africa and stuff like that. So these are all technology-based things down the line. So we're gonna unpause, get a little bit underway here. You can see that because the time is October the 1st, 2022, the war in Ukraine versus Russia is ongoing, and the Russians are immediately dispatching the 20th Guard and are evacuating the 1st Guard out of the conflict zone. All right, so here we have an event where the growing realization that we are not the sole sapient species in the universe is causing many to see their fellow humans in a new light, leading to hopes that we can overcome our capacity for strife to address the alien arrival as one people. All nations gain one cohesion, which means everybody gets along better, which is good for some nations and not so good for other nations. Fortunately, for Kazakhstan, it's great. +1 cohesion is excellent. See how these dice roll. The UN Security Council meets. The UN Security Council has met to discuss the alien arrival. Unfortunately, the hoped-for show of international unity did not materialize, with China, Russia, and the United States accusing each other of hiding knowledge about the alien crash and preventing full access to the site. We have an opportunity to shape events to our advantage, even make the case directly to the nations of the world. However, with the eyes of the world on these meetings, our counselor's risk of exposure to our enemies is high. So we can remain in the shadows. We can try to steer public opinion towards us, or we can go all in and basically expose all of our agents to the public, but try to get people behind us. Now, we are the resistance. It's very easy for us to garner public opinion. I think that we are going to go public as the primary anti-alien fighting force, and we'll worry about some of our fellow factions and see who else
We believe we can
pulls this
join
off.
them as brothers and sisters if we only convince them we are worthy.
Okay, so the Academy has decided to unmask themselves. They believe that they can show the aliens they are their
It has
equals.
always been true that we must leave the cradle if our species is to survive. If these aliens are indeed hostile, the time to go is now.
Project Exodus believes the Earth is doomed and they want to go to another solar system.
Our presence is growing.
We've managed to take Kazakhstan, one of their 2 points,
We were unable to establish
but
control.
not the second one. So now we have partial control over their economy. We're going to put 1 point in economy. We're going to actually reduce all these other spends and put it into boost. So we're going to slightly expand the economy for now. We are going to kind of grind Kazakhstan into a oblivion. We really only want it initially for its ability to generate boost. I hate to be mean to the people of Kazakhstan because I use them so often in the beginning opening of these games, and they are an excellent people. And if you get the European Union to unite with the Russian Federation, Kazakhstan can join the EU eventually, and maybe we'll see that. But yeah, we are just going to drain them for their ability to shoot stuff into space.
Your orders?
Okay, let's see here. Anjor, I believe you're the one who has the higher chance of success. Maybe
Standing
not.
by for orders.
Where to?
Oh, the Academy, because they revealed themselves, became much more popular.
Taking control.
I see.
Ready.
Okay, so you can see that we have unlocked the ability to contact agents from the other factions who have amassed themselves, and they equally can see our agents, which is not great. You can see here all of the factions that can currently see this agent, which are almost all of them. And then we are also very easy to spot in this way. We are gonna go ahead and double up our shot on Kazakhstan. We want to fully control it.
Establishing our presence.
And then next turn, we'll probably go to ground. If you recall, before we restarted, one of our guys couldn't use go to ground, which means they will always be seen by every faction all the time, which makes them very easy to target for things like betrayal missions or assassinates. You can follow them around the globe and know what they're getting into. If the AI has that intel, they know what you're doing. and we'll try to counter you. So yeah, I think we are just gonna, this could be a waste. One of them could fail, or one of them, you know, they could double succeed, which would waste a turn, but we really need this boost and we can't afford to fail twice. All right, so we can choose to increase our influence, our income, our operations. I think that we don't really have very good stuff, but research is super important right now. Let's see how things are going in the research swing, by the way. We are trying to lead in research, and it says here the resistance has contributed 8 to this, and the servants have contributed the most to it, which is not so great. We don't want the servants to be leading in anything. We have contributed a small amount to some of these others. We are way behind almost everybody. Some people are putting their whole economies into some of these, but yeah, they must have gotten control of some of these nations. Oh yeah, somebody, it looks like the Academy has taken control of Russia, which has a pretty good research budget for the beginning of the game. Now you notice Russia has strategic nuclear barrages, as do China and North Korea, and that's a problem. It's a problem that North Korea is controlled by the servants because it has a nuclear weapon, and the servants serve the aliens. They are the ultimate traitors, so we don't want them to have nuclear weapons. And of course, the biggest nuclear weapon stockpile on the planet, and also the strongest military, is the United States of America. It should be noted, the United States is a perfectly logical opening country. You do have to take Canada and Mexico and use their border access, because as I mentioned earlier, having a border of positive countries makes it easier to influence a country. And as you can see here, based on public opinion, the Academy would probably do best at getting into the United States. But yeah, if you seize Mexico and Canada and then abandon them as you start taking the United States, you can pretty much get yourself into the United States, and that's the only thing you'll be able to control for the first 20 hours of the game. But it's very strong. It does mean that you are kind of committed to violence. Because it has the strongest navy, that means that anyone who tries to fight the United States is not able to ship things overseas, including armies, if the United States is at war with them. So the United States going to war with somebody means that they're basically donezo. They're very strong. God bless America. All right, somebody has done a crackdown on Kazakhstan, which is bad. They're trying to remove our access there. We are already suffering the effects of our enemies. Fortunately, they are, so you can see that the priorities we set earlier are still there. We're still generating tons of boost, but because we don't have direct control of it, we no longer get that boost. We no longer get that economy. It's just that the country will continue expanding its capability of doing that, which is fine. That's fine too.
Mission is a no-go.
Okay. So we now need to defend our spot in Kazakhstan while also going to ground. We're going to send both our agents to ground in order to wipe away enemy intelligence of them. Looks like new orgs have popped up as well. Thank you, helpful counselor thing. Oh, and I've completely missed that we've run right past having tons and tons of influence here. We've now picked up our second persuasion counselor. This guy is pure persuasion. Maybe we'll change people's names. I know that this is popular for streamers, is to change their name, but I think we're going to change this guy's name to Charles Espionage. Let's change it to Charles Esp. I've seen somebody do this. So that lets me know that this guy, I'm supposed to be boosting his ESP so he can become an assassin. This is going to become Anjor Per, because he's a persuasion expert. And we've got Julian Matic. who is British. Gonna boost his persuasion. He can pick up the government trait, which is quite nice. Down the line, you can see things like the National Security Agency requires you to have the trait government, and you also either have to have a agent who is American or control some part of America in order to get it. This is a pretty strong National Security Agency, is pretty strong, but not like really good, and it costs a huge amount of money to maintain. A lot of the government ones are there. Goddard Flight Center. Wow, that's a really good one. You can see that it gives 1 extra mission control, but it also gives you that cog symbol. The cog symbol means you get a second project spot on the research screen. We'll head on over there real quick and take a look at that. So you can see this says acquire an org that grants an engineering project. So that is why you want a engineering org. They're very strong. And then you need skunk works in order to unlock the third. So this is when we have space stations and ground stations on other planets like the moon or Mars. Putting a skunk work there will allow us to pick up a third project. Is this any good? Monthly income goes up. We get more science. We get +1 life sciences. I don't know that I want to commit to this, honestly. I'm not 100% on that. And let's look at the recruiting bin. So we need an investigator. I'm noticing we have an attorney, a criminal attorney. Ho ho ho. Low profile. Lobbyist is pretty strong, +5% to funding priority. That's pretty good. He has some of the missions we want. Specifically, he has access to detain counselor, which is it's the exact reason we want him. So this is probably the next counselor we're going to pick up is Mr. Zalalim Abdimalek. I apologize to all Ethiopians for butchering their beautiful language. Yeah, we're going to get this guy. We're going to get him. And we're going to make him into an investigatory monster. Okay, so there has been a overthrow of our control point by Project Exodus. They are directly attacking us in Kazakhstan. The reason they're doing that is because they want to go to space, and they recognize that Kazakhstan is the way to do that. So now we are in open war with them. Operatives of the resistance have detected someone in the Ankara region of Turkey is acting as a counselor for one of the other secret agents that has formed to address the alien arrival. We may send one of our other counselors to investigate them. We could, but we're not. But we could. And we probably will when we have better agents more capable of doing that. Okay, so we want to perform a crackdown here or a purge, but if you do a crackdown, it makes it easier to perform a purge.
At your service.
Unfortunately, I don't think anybody is very good at crackdowns, so we may need to commit a little bit. Hold on, can we get that extra agent now? We have enough, right? We have enough to pick up our criminal attorney? Fantastic. And because we're picking him up at the end of the month, at the recruiting time, we can use him immediately, I think. Okay, so as you can see, our investigator is better at cracking down because he has the investigation stat in order to do it. We are going to give him a 50-50 shot at attempting that. Do we have anyone who has the defend interest mission?
Ready for my mission.
I don't think we do.
Standing by.
We do, actually. But it cost 20 points of influence and we just spent all of ours. So instead, we are going to concentrate on investigating that alien site, for a little bit of bonus, we're going to send Charles.
Standing by.
Onjor, we're going to put in the Benelux region. We want to try to grab it before we fully lose access to it, and then get into France.
We'll be running this place in no time.
They
Okay.
are not life forms or xenosapiens. They are demons incarnate. They and the traitors who support them will face our judgment.
So this is Colonel Hans Castillo. He's based. He is the Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard commander of this particular anti-Xenos task force. He's probably going to be our closest ally. We're going to try to form an alliance with him to share intelligence. And if we can make that happen, there's a good chance that we might be able to influence his artificial intelligence to attack our enemies directly while we reap the benefits of that. So we really want humanity first to be fighting the aliens and the servants. And there's a good chance that if we can ally with humanity first, we can get them in that direction. Also, when we have like old bases we no longer want, or ships that are technologically inferior and are taking up our resources, we might be able to trade them to humanity first for things that we actually do want, and that will kind of bootstrap them into the fight and give them more resources. It's just good business for the resistance and humanity first to work together, even though humanity first thinks we're cowards. They think much worse things of pretty much everyone else. They're an extreme faction. Wow, the servants have taken North and South Korea, and now we've completely lost control of Kazakhstan. But so has Project Exodus. So an eye for an eye here. We are blinding each other.
We have found something, Commander.
Despite heavy security, we were able to obtain some surveillance records of the crash site, as well as a small quantity of debris. We should have a project ready to research shortly. So you notice we got 20 influence and 20 research out of that.
We still lack support.
Okay, we got a failure here.
We've got our people in place.
Ah, but there we go. We have one of the control points here. In Benelux. Oh, I guess it's not technically Benelux because it's not the Netherlands. It's Belux. All right. I guess that's fine too. All right. So we do want to make sure that this government right now is okay. I think that we're going to want to go very minor funding, and then we want them to go mission control quite hard. So when we fold Benelux or Belux into France, we want it to have maximum mission control spots taken out already. Yeah, I think that's a good setup. I see funding the space program is useless because France already has a space program. So it would only be useful if this country was remaining independent. The AI doesn't care about that kind of thing, though. Project Exodus is doing what its AI is supposed to do, which is take control of as much as possible in terms of space flight. They really want to go to space. All right. An alien fleet is transferring into low Earth orbit.
The trick is not to look directly at what you are trying to see. Offset your focal point somewhere to the side of where you think you notice the movement. At night, the center of your vision doesn't work as well as during the day. I won't try to explain the science to you. What matters is you'll see whatever is out there before they see you. Colonel Hans Castillo, advising conscripts in Colombia.
I think that means somebody completed. Yep. So now we have advanced carbon manipulation. This is okay. We absolutely want advanced carbon manipulation for sure. It is on the way to several technologies that we're going to want, including carbon nanotubes, in order to get things like next generation aerospace, diamondoids, in order to pick up some other very, very strong picks like adamantine armor, but I would have preferred to get control of at least one of the three things here. We are not going to beat the servants unless we get very lucky here.
Ready to go.
Okay, so we're in a little bit of a pickle here. Nobody's getting anything out of Kazakhstan, which is not great. We do need a espionage character, which we have, to attack this part of Kazakhstan and remove our enemies. We do also want to concentrate on picking up the master control point in Benelux. Got a pretty good shot at taking.
We will bring this nation to our side.
I'm here.
We're gonna put 2 people on it, even though that might be overkill.
Ready for orders.
What do you got that we can do here? So you have defend interests, but there's not many places that we can put that to use. You've also got crackdown. Unfortunately, if we try to crack down on Project Exodus, because they have a defense marker here, they've run this is why you run defend interests, is because it makes it very difficult to flip a nation. They got there first. I think we'll just start with a sweep here.
On Overwatch.
So if we have our investigatory counselor do a sweep in this part of Kazakhstan, in Astana, every adjacent area that shares a border with Astana, any agents that are in those locations may show up, and anyone that is currently in Astana might show up. Now, because we know that Project Exodus is operating here and is probably going to try to take the command control point, the executive, from us, we're going to do a sweep. We're going to see if we can find their agent here, and once we've uncovered them, we'll follow them around and bully them for a while. Possibly we might assassinate them. But the AI knows when its agents are exposed to some extent and doesn't like it when that happens, and will attempt to have them run away and go do something else rather than stay exposed.
Initiating surveillance.
We'll see what comes up. All right, so we can now increase our economy, increase our boost priority, increase our military, or our welfare and knowledge. We are going to hire steely-eyed missile men in order to increase our boost and found national space program. Maybe, I mean, in the long term, having more boost is not good. It only helps us in the beginning, but boy, does it help. In the long term, economic priority helps a lot more. I think we will go focus on economic development. I've talked myself into it. It's less helpful early on, and it's not going to help us in the space race as much, but boy, will it be a big deal in the end. All right, so this is bad. We just lost the executive, which is how I thought this was going to go down. But we've also flipped the other control point here, right back to us. Where does that lead you? Back to me. So we want to boost our boost here.
We failed to take control.
Critical failure is not
We're
good.
unable to establish control.
A second critical failure? This is horrible.
Teaches that in the creation of heaven and earth, a wise people may find the signs of Orm. Let us heed those words and join together as we take our search into the stars. Director Khalid Al-Ashgar, from his khutbah at the first conclave of Muslim astrophysicists.
Okay, so Mission to Space has unlocked orbital shipbuilding, which is kind of useful. Deep space propulsion, which is very useful, as is outpost tabs. We need outpost tabs in order to create new space stations and ground things. They've gone into orbital shipbuilding, which is a very not great for us. It's not the best. Not the best. Okay.
Standing by.
We need to have our crackdown counselor do a crackdown
Targeting their
up here.
Reporting in.
Then we need our
Actual
guy
service.
who has defend interests to defend the Kazakhstan point
Protecting
to
our
prevent
interests.
it from being counterattacked. All right, that leaves our other 2 agents open. It doesn't look like our investigator discovered anybody. But we can also start investigating our own people, which is fine. We actually do want to do that to make sure that they are clean and clear.
Bringing them to our side.
Our only hope is to understand what the aliens want with us and determine how to satisfy them without losing our independence.
Okay, so this is Kieran Banerjee. I did say the servants are the worst traders. Actually, the protectorate are the worst traders. So this guy is basically like a UN high commissioner, like almost a secretary general, who's come to the conclusion that if we build a bunch of guns in orbit that point towards our planet, the aliens will see that and they will know that we are peaceful because we would rather destroy ourselves than fight them. If that sounds insane, welcome to a protectorate playthrough. There are reasons for what Mr. Banerjee is doing.
Our control.
They're very sad.
Person of interest surveilled.
Okay, we've investigated our persuasion counselor from the United Kingdom. His loyalty score is 9, which is not great, but he is loyal. 9 is not bad.
They slipped away from us.
Crackdown failure, which is not good. We're working on it.
Gained significant support.
Okay, we have seized control of the means of production here in Benelux. All right. So new plan to shift. We need to perform a crackdown again here.
Turning up the heat.
Then we need Mr. Maddock to go defend our interests in Belgium.
Securing our interests.
They'll throw the shields up on these 2 points and prevent them from being counterattacked.
Ready.
Our persuasion guy is going to start persuading Spain. I think actually what we need to do is, we haven't done this yet. We're going to do a public campaign, which is where a persuasion specialist attempts to shift public support towards us, the resistance, by pulling it away from everyone else. In the process, it will make attempting to control the nation easier down the line.
To sway the public.
Ready to go.
Okay, and then I don't know, what do we want to do here with our investigatory agent? I guess he still has a good enough persuasion that we can just throw him at something. 17 is not very good. Here we go. Why don't we have him do a sweep for targets
Target area.
in Belgium? Make sure to clean up behind
Safe for our
ourselves.
people.
Setting a watch.
The people will come to our side.
Okay. Public support has changed by 14%, so a huge change. Critical success. Our counselor was also spotted. Is bad. He's gonna have to go to ground. We've also finally got a crackdown on the executive here. So next turn, we're going to try to overthrow the government of Kazakhstan again, get full independence. We're gonna do a purge. We're gonna target
Terminating the opposition.
crucial point.
Standing by for orders.
So it looks like our persuasion specialist here has been spotted by the servants and maybe another faction. It's not super clear. We are going to have them go to ground over here in Spain.
Ready to go.
You can see we've successfully defended Belgium. So now we're going to start pushing Spain.
Taking control.
That we went from like a 30s something chance of success to a 56, so that critical success on the on gaining support was huge. You can see here control in larger allies federation. That's from controlling part of Belgium is getting us a boost to what we're doing here.
Bringing them to our side.
Okay.
Going silent.
He's laying low in Barcelona. That just means he's going on vacation. Maybe he'll head to Ibiza or something.
We've removed some threats.
Okay, we've regained control of Kazakhstan. Good, good.
Our supporters are in place.
Okay, so we critically succeeded on a control mission, which also gives us a public opinion boost. Just fantastic. This is a great start. We're going to give them 1 in all of these priorities, and then we want them to boost their mission control. We don't want them to grow any of these other things. The reason we're putting 1 in all of these is to keep their statistics stable. We like them being a flawed democracy. It'd be better if they were a better democracy, of course. We want them to have high knowledge and all of that stuff, and an 8 knowledge is pretty good. But for every point you put in one of these, like economy, welfare, environment, knowledge, government, and funding, and I don't remember if any of the others do it, but it's kind of a hidden strat. You can see it down here. Our investments in the funding priority are receiving a 7.2% diversity bonus from other priorities. So by having a bunch of points in a lot of different things, even if it's just a small amount, you do get a boost to all of them for a diversity bonus. It's just like how, you know, we could be putting all of our research into just one of these categories, but by putting a little bit into all of them, we have a higher overall amount of science that we're generating. Let's take a look at how we stack up, by the way. So we are generating 5.7 daily, and Humanity First is doing great. Actually, everybody else is doing a lot better than us. It's because we went for Kazakhstan, which is not exactly a research-heavy country. They're doing very good. I'm doing bad. That's okay. We finally have control of Kazakhstan because we don't have a shield. We don't have a defend interest on both of the points. But because you have to be part of the country in order to affect the executive is unassailable if you do not have a control point in the country otherwise, which makes it, it doesn't need to have a defend interest on it. We're okay for the moment right there. All right. How's the UK doing? They also have nuclear missiles and a pretty strong army. I would love to fold the United Kingdom into the EU, if only for complete and utter amusement. This is after Brexit, I believe, so they are fully out. And it takes a long time to get them in, but it would be nice to have their massive navy and army and GDP all rolled into the EU. It's also good to just not have
At your service.
haters behind you. Okay, we're gonna do a full press on Spain
Ready for my mission.
with everybody but our
Establishing
investigatory counselor.
Standing by.
We're hoping to pick up,
Standing by for
with
orders.
these 3 agents, we're hoping to pick up the last 2 control points there. This guy, what do I want to do with him? He needs to be running investigatory missions to get investigatory XP. We're gonna have him check on Anjor here.
Initiating surveillance.
See how he's doing. How loyal is he?
We've got some intel on our
His loyalty is 15. That's amazing. That's very good, and that's what we want to have. It would be very difficult for someone to turn Anjor against us. Okay, so an alien UFO crashed in Brazil, which means there is now an alien running around in Brazil. As you can see, the servants already control Brazil. They normally control most of South America. Servants love South America for reasons I don't really understand. I think maybe it's because it's a very easy, because it's such a huge continent. It's very easy to spawn lots of xenofauna. We'll talk about that more later, but we might want to send our investigator over here to take a look at that later. We can't detect aliens yet, so there's no point in trying to chase them down. All right, we got both of them. We got them all. We full control of Espanol. Somewhere out there, ancient Rome is molding at the level of control we've exuded over this area. Right, so we're pushing tons of mission control here. When that mission control is fully filled up, when we get a notice that says there's no additional mission control that can be done in Spain, we will fully fold it into France. It will become, France will change name from France to European Union, and Spain will change name to European Union. Okay, we have completed the Alien Signatures project. There is no doubt extraterrestrial life has touched down on Earth. The many questions we have regarding its origin, species, and intents will have to wait. All that matters now is finding it. By cross-referencing reports of unusual events in the vicinity of the landing site with similar data from our global intelligence network, we have developed a tracking system able to reliably identify disappearances, most likely resulting from alien activity. So now we can detect alien abductions, which we weren't able to do before.
We appear to have an alien on the loose.
So this is our new priority, is conducting surveil location missions in regions near alien sites. We also need to research the alien origins by researching alien signatures, which we've done, and deep system skywatch. We need to engage a alien warship, which is much more difficult than it sounds. It's very difficult, incredibly difficult. I'm working on it. We're dancing as quickly as we can. There's a lot to do, and it's not going the best. Okay, so our investigator is going to go ahead and go investigate this crash down, and then we're going to have him start wandering around and use surveillance missions. This might be an alien. There is a possibility that this is not a servant counselor. This could be the alien that crashed down here. It's possible. I don't think we can really work on that right now, though. All right, so our British gentleman will now defend Spain, making it much more difficult for our enemies to operate there. And then we are going to start a publicly acknowledged campaign in France.
I will tell our story.
Turn the people of France to our side. You can see we've started building reputation there, but now that we have 2 of its land borders from people that are also in its federation, if we build up just a little bit of public support, we'll be able to take France much easier than swinging at those like 10 or fewer percents there. You can also see we've started building up boosts. We're gonna need something like 50 plus boosts in order to go to the moon and to Mars. And that's just bare minimum mission, no bonuses, no like mining yet, anything of value. So yeah, we have a long way to go.
They are here to cleanse our sick world. The aliens are our saviors, and all who oppose them are enemies of the future.
Yeah, they're bad. The servants are bad. These traitors.
Securing our control.
We are winning their hearts and minds.
The people will come to our side.
Okay. Now we can see here the initiative has started taking small parts of the EU, which is a problem for us.
The dreamer in me wants to believe it would bring a golden age of advancement and prosperity for all mankind. But I'm a realist. I know better. Any race advanced enough to find us would be advanced enough to end us, likely without even regarding us. Commander Fiona Ayawade, NATO Symposium on First Contact.
So we want to get clandestine cells as soon as it is available, because we know that that will lead to covert operations and picking up a 5th counselor. Many of these arrival research options are also very strong. It's basically humanity grappling with the concept that they currently have, which is that aliens are real and they are coming. Is there a research here we can be competitive in? I don't think so, because our control point count is so low. We are rolling out kind of slowly, and it's not the best. We may just have to try to seize control of orbital habs. I think that's really our only option. We're just gonna have to stay the course. All right, looks like a new wave of orgs has showed up. We finally have a little bit of cash free. We might be able to make something happen. This would be good to have. This is extra engineering, so that's very strong. Is there anyone here who's got like high science, something like that? Not really. This guy's got high admin. This guy's also got high admin. We're just gonna throw it on this guy, Griffin Technologies. Most of our money right there just went to him. Which guy is this? Our investigator. Cool. See if any of our other guys... No, not quite yet. They're not ready. Okay. We're looking to lock down France, its army, its nuclear stockpiles, its control of the EU, all of it. We are going in.
Your orders?
We're swinging hard.
Where to?
We're bringing everybody.
We'll bring this nation to our side.
Not this guy, not you. I'll tell you, we do actually want the Gulf states. Why don't you come down here, buddy?
Establishing.
So we want the Gulf states so that we can funnel corrupt money out of its economy into our pockets. I do need to note that spoils does make everything worse. It makes a country worse. It increases its environmental damage. It removes money from its economy. It is basically removing the Gulf states as a useful country for the future. But it's a small, rich, authoritarian nation. There wasn't much use for it until you can get like united nations in that area. Okay. We are going to undergo... We are going to pick up clandestine cells, and actually that's going to be our new focus. Rather than try to compete with people for this, we are going to try to get that extra counselor as soon as possible.
Our supporters are in place.
All right, we've picked up one of the French control points. So in France, we are going to want to start building boost, but we don't want we don't want to throw everything away for that boost. Let's see what we need to balance here. Our democracy is strong. We have good education. So we need to bring this inequality down. So in order to bring inequality down, we need to put welfare up. And we need to help out the environment a little bit. I don't know that I want to go too much into that, and I also want to give the economy a little bit more. I think this is an okay. I'm sure someone in the comment section will be screaming. I don't know if I want to invest in unity. I don't think we need to is the thing. I don't think we need to investigate into unity.
We're unable to establish control.
Okay, 2 failures.
We still lack support.
And a 3rd failure outside of France. Not the best start. Not the best start.
Ready for my mission.
Okay, we're still going to keep swinging at France.
We'll bring this nation to our side.
Acknowledged.
Ready for orders. Establishing our presence.
And we are also going to try to pick up the Gulf again.
We'll be running this
Every
place in no
circumstance
time.
is an opportunity. Our test is to recognize and seize it.
So this is the shadowy cabal of businessmen called the Initiative, who are led by a South African businessman. This game came out in like 2020, so you know, do with that what you will. They're trying to seize control of world governments. Yeah, we don't need more nuclear weapons in France. Just like 1 or 2 nuclear weapons is more than enough to get the job done normally. Until the alien landing ships come, and then things get real. But by then, hopefully we'll have control of like the UK or Russia. Hey! We have all 4 French control points. In 180 days, we will have control of the European Union, which is excellent, and we can start all of the initiatives we've been hoping for. This probably has also boosted. Remember, we were at like 5.6 daily research. Now we're at 14.3. So let's take a look at how we're stacking up. We are pushing past everybody but the Academy, who prioritize research in that way. How are we doing otherwise? Almost nobody is building boost. The servants have some, Project Exodus has some, and Humanity First has a very bare amount, but we are going to be the first country into space. You can also see we have 148 control point points, which puts us ahead of almost everybody but the servants, boo, and the Academy, who are way over limit here. They got problems. So we still have free points to manage. We need to get Project Exodus out of Belgium, and we want to start controlling some of these smaller EU countries to use them for the secret funding strat. So Bosnia, Herzegovina, Montenegro is not in the EU, so they're not a priority. They're not currently in the EU. Serbia, Kosovo isn't either. Romania? Is that who we're going to aim for? Is Romania? That's crazy. Slovakia, Denmark, maybe Latvia and Estonia. No, the initiative is really locking those up quite well. Sweden but not Norway. I think you can get a thing to get Norway in later. Okay. So these are our options for expansion right now. The Netherlands is a 3-point expansion. Oh, we could try to pick up Ireland. I love Ireland. Yeah, absolutely. We could pick up Ireland. Why wouldn't we? The other option would be to pick up the Netherlands because we have Benelux right next door, and it might be easier to do, and it would also let us bootstrap into Germany. The thing is, though, we're trying to pick up all the small countries, but we've been moving slowly, and that's not good. It means that we have lost the initiative to the initiative in this way. So probably not getting Northern Macedonia. We could pick up, let's see, Greece, Ireland are all options. Greece, Ireland, Croatia, Slovakia, maybe Poland, maybe Lithuania, Sweden, Denmark. If we pick up Denmark, we get Greenland. And the nice part about Greenland is if global warming gets too bad, you can fire a nuclear weapon at Greenland. I know that sounds crazy. You can fire a nuclear weapon at Greenland in order to generate atmospheric, dust and such. And kind of pollute the atmosphere, but also lower your the warmth blanket. Make it cool the atmosphere a little bit. Probably we aren't going to do that, though. Probably we aren't going to nuke Greenland. But if we have to, I'm willing to do it. Well, with control of France in our pocket, we are going to set orders here and call it for this episode. So we are going to defend our interests in France. I almost wonder if I should let the comment section decide where we're going to. Oh, I forgot Portugal as well. So here are your options, audience at home. I will slow roll this rather than do a bunch of episodes in a row. I'll slow roll this. You tell me what your favorite EU country that we should seize control of using evil means and mind control propaganda. Is it Portugal, Ireland, the Netherlands, Denmark, Sweden, Lithuania, Slovakia, Croatia? Maybe there was another one? Or Romania? Those are your options. Are you a person that lives in Europe? Do any of these countries matter to you? Are you an American whose great-grandparents were born in one of these countries? Or maybe you just like the Irish? If no one says anything in the comment section, I'm 100% going to get the Irish because it shares a land border with the British, and I would love to bootstrap into Britain eventually, but there are plenty of good reasons to take several of these other countries as well. Oh, I forgot Austria. I don't think I mentioned Austria in there. Austria is nice because it's nice and central, and it shares lots of land borders with people. There we are.